Good bag. If you're new around here, that's TSR's signature slang for ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls. Welcome to the Thrift Store Rundown's 5th annual Odyssey to the Oscars! Can you believe it? This year marks my 5th year, half a decade, of celebrating the most prestigious accolade in the storied history of the moving image, bringing the Academy Awards home on a budget. In contemplating this being my 5th year of celebrating the Oscars without putting a dent in your pocketbook, I decided not only to dream in gold, but to also think big. Over the course of the next several days leading up to the 93rd annual Oscars, the most uniquely produced Academy Awards ceremony in history, to say the very least, you will see the most diverse and largest array of items ever assembled for review in this series. So needless to say, it will be quite a party to produce. And speaking of parties, I have a saying. You're never too young to dream in gold. And that certainly applies to throwing a child's birthday party. So with that said, in the first of 2 items I'm reviewing for this first of many Odyssey to the Oscars videos you'll be seeing over the next week, we're going to review Let's Get This Party Started. DIY celebrations for you and your kids to create together. Games, crafts, recipes, decorations, and more. This is a library copy that I got off of Amazon for a total of $9.49. It's a library copy, as so indicated here, and here. Withdrawn. Permanently. Retail prices, $22.50 in the US, $25.50 in Canada, £13.99 in the UK. I made it abundantly clear in my homemade simple book review that I did for my Spring Break Back to School series a few days ago that I'm kind of falling for the author of this book. The second of 2 books, that's the author, by the way. Spunky, sassy, and fierce to a fault, not to mention incredibly spiffy in fashion, Punky Brewster, aka Soleil Moon Frye. Yes, I am kind of falling for this woman deep. But putting my growing crush on her aside, Soleil, you will be given a fair and just review. We will find out if the punky powers that be made the right call in publishing a book like this. All photography, by the way, is by her big brother, the talented actor in his own right, Mino Pelus, and as you'll see right now, a very keen photographer. There are 3 examples in this book, which I'm going to show you out of the 21 parties in total featured in here. And because this is the Odyssey to the Oscars, what other party should we start with other than movie night? I love going to the movies. Any chance to get to the movies and I'm there. The kids love movies as well, so what better way to celebrate than with an outdoor movie night for the whole family? It doesn't take much to pull it off, just a projector, a sheet or wall to project onto, some blankets, and your favorite snacks. This is a great way to bring the family together and do something unique and special. It also makes for a fun activity year-round that you can change for any season. So, the components of this party entail popcorn stacks, which you can make homemade. They require 1 or 2 plain paper bags per kid, various rubber stamps, and ink pads. For the snacks, well, kettle corn. What else? You can't have a movie without popcorn. Vegetable oil, sugar, vanilla extract, unpopped popcorn kernels, and a dash of salt. That's it. What? No other spices than salt? My friends didn't believe me when I told them how easy it is to make your own kettle corn. We can't decide who likes it more, the kids or the adults. The extra flavor from the dash of salt and the vanilla extract leaves the whole family wanting more and more. Vanilla and savory popcorn. You make the call. Does that work for you? You can make your own admission tickets. And of course, you can set up a seat or whatever and a projector to have a fun movie night outdoors. For this movie night, for this particular book, the kids taken to watching some home movies. I assume that this is the wedding of Soleil Moon Frye and husband Jason Goldberg, co-founder, by the way, of the company Catalyst Films with Ashton Kutcher. Continuing on to another party, an honorable mention, so to speak. So totally 80s. Hello. Punky Brewster was indeed one of the quintessential 80s kids. As many of you know, I am obsessed with the 80s. I absolutely love the era and hold it very close to my heart. People often ask me if I ever get sick of being referred to as Punky, and the answer is no. Punky will always be a part of who I am, and I still see her in me. I love that she was someone who people loved and cared about, and that she also encouraged others to be individuals and to not be afraid to be who they are. Did any of you shout holy macannoli upon hearing the joyous news that Punky Brewster will be given a reboot on the NBC streaming service Peacock? By the way, Soleil Moon Frye is, appropriately so, one of the executive producers of the reboot, and the brothers who made the School of Rock TV show for Nickelodeon based upon that movie, you know, with Jack Black, they're also executive producers. For this 80s party, you'll need Sloppy Joes as treats, courtesy of John Shook. He and his business partner, Vinny DiTolo, have two of the most delicious restaurants in Los Angeles, Animal and Son of the Gun. So this is John's recipe for Sloppy Joes. You'll also need to make a photo collage featuring some of your 80s childhood crushes. You could spring for the 90s or the 70s, but this is an 80s party. So, 80s childhood heartthrobs will do, man or woman. You'll need images of 80s stars, photo paper, a pair of scissors, some tape, and some old frames or large piece of cardstock. I should also remind you of her documentary streaming on Hulu right now called Kid 90, a candid look at our time spent with the young heartthrobs of the 90s. Why not of the 80s? Oh well. It was a tumultuous, rebellious, yet heartfelt and poignant time in her life, as well the lives of those featured in that particular doc. It's streaming on Hulu now if you want to take a peek. You'll also need lava bottles. Whenever I think of the 80s, lava lamps come to mind. I remember my purple lava lamp from when I was growing up. I loved it. This craft is super fun, it's like going back in time. It is also a great opportunity to teach kids a little about science, like how water and oil don't mix, or to have a chat about your own youth. And how about a fun game called Dance Freeze Game? Similar to musical chairs, only that there's no chairs, that's what makes it different. Anyway, put on your favorite 80s song. While the music is playing, have the kids perform their favorite 80s moves, the moonwalk, the Cabbage Patch Kid, and the robot, to name a few. When the music stops, the kids freeze in their dance positions. Whoever doesn't stop dancing when you turn off your stereo is out. The last kid still on the dance floor at the end of the game wins 80s-inspired goodies. Fun prizes can be 80s toys like Rubik's Cubes and jelly bracelets. And if you happen to have some Punky Brewster paraphernalia, I've never watched Punky Brewster, you can tell, but I am seriously contemplating giving it a try soon. Well, so much the better. So much more credit for you, and of course for Soleil. Along the way, for each party, so also some miscellaneous tips on keeping the party more festive and fun. Any additional add-ons that she suggests, so suggest them here in these tips. And of course, well, this is had to be mentioned, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Inspired by Poet's birthday rainbow-themed birthday party. You know, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, the Academy Award-winning song for The Wizard of Oz. I will not sing it for you. We'll just let the party components and the party itself sing for themselves. Rainbow cake pops. Rainbow ice. Tie-dyed t-shirts and rainbow-colored jewelry making. And a cupcake and candy bar just to hedge your bets. Colored balloons and all that stuff would definitely make for plenty of colorful rainbow-like decorations just to make the whole thing pop. So those are 3 of 21 parties featured in this book. And I gotta say, This really does prove that you can add a touch of Hollywood to your child's birthday party without putting a major dent in your wallet. The kids might not recognize it at first, but trust me, over time they'll be very thankful. Speaking of gratitude, by the way, there's also a Thanksgiving party in here, if you want to take a look at that. We got a problem to discuss here, Soleil. Acknowledgements. Failure to acknowledge the fans. And trust me, there are plenty of Punky Brewster fans back in the 80s and even in the 90s, generations then and now, especially with the reboot, which is pending in season 2. They are disregarded in the acknowledgement section. And especially when you created your site moonfrye.com, which is now extinct, a place for parents to gather online and share creative and fun ideas for kids and families. I'll leave an internet archive link below. Well, this makes that even more unacceptable. No matter who steps under TSR's desk lamp spotlight, failure to acknowledge the fans is not acceptable. That's one of 2 caveats I have with this book. The other, the recipes. I mean, yes, they're kid-friendly, and they are pantry staple-friendly, so they have those things going for them, but they lack a certain amount of pizzazz. Just a tiny bit, of spunk. A little bit of, sorry to use the term, punky power. Hey, Soleil is not a trained chef. She's an actress by trade. And she's just, well, definitely punky, and I mean that as a compliment, in her ability to throw child's birthday parties. This book is valid evidence of that, but I wish the recipes had a little more spice going for them. Not so much to turn a child away from eating them, but just a little something so that they know it's really complete and that they can't stop eating it. These are all the parties listed in the content section, from a swashbuckling pirate adventure to a relaxing day at the spa, a tropical luau, or a baseball game themed party, or a midsummer dream, a slumber party. You can party to your heart's content with this book and never grow tired. And that's all thanks to a little bit of, this is the last time I'm going to use this term by the way, punky power. Those 2 caveats, which I mentioned aside, 4 out of 5 claps. Hey, 2 caveats, 2 happy claps taken away, equaling 1 full clap deduction. With all that in mind, I have one question for you, Soleil. Do you feel lucky that I didn't rate this book any lower? Well, do you, Punky? Just because the recipes in here lacked a little more pizzazz than need be, I brought along some second-hand backup. And I mean second-hand in the venue of which I purchased this from and of course the price, not second-hand in the quality. For 50% off the price of $3.99, I have here Food Network Magazine's 1000 Easy Recipes Cookbook. Super fun food for every day, a Hype-One publication. If you're looking to plan any type of party and you're thinking of some recipes to assemble for that particular party, these suggested menus in here really do the talking for you. From a pizza party to a Sunday brunch, book club, Tex-Mex, lobster shack, Big Apple Fair, that dinner party, a Thai dinner party. Sometimes I look here at the book and at the viewfinder just to read the titles and so forth in the text. A Southern picnic, anything, a diner special, a lot of menus in here to consider. All of them creative and all of them requiring just 4 recipes to pick from. Of course, I'm going to pick from the movie night selection here. Pizza dip, perfect popcorn, movie concession cookies, and The Godfather. This obviously must be omitted from any kid's birthday party. Otherwise, you'd be a fool for serving a child alcohol. That's a disaster waiting to happen. That's a recipe for incarceration. Please, don't do that. We start off with the pizza dip, which requires tomato sauce, ricotta cheese, diced mozzarella, and pepperoni, topped with fresh basil and olive oil to garnish. It bakes at 350 until bubbling. This is where we have a problem here. Yes, this too isn't perfect, like let's get this party started. Because almost half of the recipes in here do not give you specific times for cooking the ingredients for certain recipes. You're gonna have to play it by eyes and ears. If you're a natural born cook, you'll know what certain ingredients are finished being cooked, so that you can add more ingredients to the pan, to the pot, whatever. Yes, I've already shown you popcorn in Soleil's book, but you can't get enough popcorn. Just like Dalton Davis of Shared Media and Clever TV, you can't get enough popcorn at a movie night, or really any time of the day or night. So we have here a dual-page example of how to make perfect popcorn. This dual-page format right here will also be utilized for making marinara sauce, or any other master components of great party snacks or main entrees that you'll want to prepare in here. So, expect this dual page format for certain recipes throughout this book as well. If you want to make it theater style, they give you directions right here. Make sure you follow the golden rules for popping popcorn, and if you're counting calories, well, they give you some stats here. From the healthy option all the way to the indulgent movie theater options, and of course everybody goes for whether they're watching the rate or not, because you know, when I at the movies, it's only a night to indulge. It's some great entertainment. Now, as I said, you ought to admit this from a child's birthday party, otherwise your derriere is going to be torn. This is The Godfather. Why? Well, The Godfather. What else? Scotch and amaretto with a shaker filled with ice. It also serves as a little bit of a aperitif, if you will, a tease, for my review of the annotated screenplay of The Godfather coming in this series, so stay tuned. That's in the cocktail section here. And for the kids, we have movie concession cookies. Chocolate-covered peanuts, raisins, and M&Ms included in a cookie. So, 1,000 easy recipes. From appetizers and snacks, to side dishes, all the way to the main stars, the main dishes, and desserts. Pasta, pizza, soup, salads, sandwiches, casseroles. The works upon the works upon the works. And variations of those works, all coming together in a book like this. Why not 1,001 easy recipes, you might ask? Well, I guess they're not like the nostalgia critic. They don't want to go one step beyond. Speaking of the nostalgia critic, he has referenced Punky Brewster many times, sporadically, over his reviews. So I gotta say, Doug Walker, Channel Awesome, you've done Saved by the Bell. Perhaps it's high time that you reviewed Punky Brewster. Make my girlfriend in my head, Soleil Moon Frye, proud. I take that back. To our readers, thanks for keeping us cooking. Dedicated to the readers. And thumbs up for that, because I too am an avid reader of Food Network magazine. I adore it. I am so grateful to Donna Ionelli, my partner in crime here at TSR, for gifting me a congratulatory graduation subscription for 1 year to Food Network magazine. Many of those issues from that 1 year subscription you have saw reviewed on this channel, so you have Donna to thank for that as well. But it too is imperfect, so it has to be given 4.5 out of 5 claps. By the way, they do offer more than 1,000 recipes in here, so maybe they do go a few steps and beyond. The stats: 294 appetizers and snacks, 156 breakfasts, 287 main dishes, 192 salads and sides, 232 drinks and desserts. All retailing for $24.99 in the US. So, 4.5? The total is 8.5 out of 10 claps for a very unlikely yet ideal combination, which would certainly bode well for any birthday party, young and old. But if we're really going to be talking about a child's birthday party, regardless of whether you bring this as secondhand backup or not, if you like the children's birthday party recipes and dishes to be played on the safe side, like in this book, it doesn't really matter. No matter what treats or snacks I might come across, the next birthday party I attend, even if I have to hitch 2 Amtrak trains, will most certainly be at Punky Brewster's place. And speaking of Brewster's place, I don't think it would be terrible of you, Soleil, to virtually invite Oprah. Thanks for watching, and you best believe there's more where that came from. Tomorrow's another awesome day, so long as I catch you on the flip side. Until then, stay golden.